What is up? We are back with another episode. So we have a lot to get into today. We have to cover NBA. We have to cover NFL. We have so many things to get into. But we have three celebrities in the house. You know, two of them. OG
Oh,
made it
don't
to
start.
ESPN.
Here
No,
we
no, no,
go.
no, no, no.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I
tell him.
First of all, I have not even been able to congratulate you. Okay, congrats. We need to see you up there more often, and I know we will soon. But yeah, Jay, that was big time
No,
for you.
actually, you are the one that's going to be on there. First of all, you're a lot
No.
younger and much better looking than me. So you are the one that we're going to see on
Oh
TV.
boy.
I can
That make you two the celebrities? All right.
I can definitely tell you that. You are going to be the one that's going to be on TV way more than me. I know that. No doubt about that. So.
Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. But it was really cool to see you up there and rep Player's Choice. I've been hearing so many good things from so many good people. So just getting our name out there was huge.
Right.
And then, of course, we got Tone. I know you're kind of more behind the scenes, but you are always orchestrating things for everybody else. And always seeing you live for those Raptor games is good. All you got Raptor fans in the chat, always make sure to check out Fired Up Network because they have so many awesome shows, awesome articles to check out. But chat, today's going to be a crazy day because we actually have a special guest to introduce to you, and I think you guys are going to be excited. So let's get him up here. Fluent, why don't you do an introduction? You are close to this guy.
Absolutely. So Xavier Top Floor is the one. You probably hear this song every time we kind of start, right? You hear this, and I don't know how deep you go into it. But I keep telling everybody, like, go check out Xavier Top Floor on Spotify and all this kind of stuff. And I completely forgot to tell y'all, this is on NBA 2K21. So it's like, this is my guy. So Xavier Top Floor in the building.
What's going on, guys? How we doing, man? What's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm charged, B. I get to talk to a rapper. I'm charged about that, no doubt.
This is the NBA hip hop, maybe a little NFL show. Maybe.
The perfect.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Xavier, first of all, kind of introduce yourself. Obviously, tell us about your music, kind of where you're from, and all of that.
Yeah, so I go by the name of Xavier Top Floor. I'm Nigerian. So with that being said, that means my parents moved around a lot in the U.S. when we were growing up. So they bounced around from like New York to Utah to Texas. Then when they got to New Mexico is when they had me. I lived there till I was 7. Then I moved to the West Coast, and that's where I grew up. And that's why you kind of hear that West Coast twang in my music. Yeah. All influenced by that. Yeah,
no doubt. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you mentioned the West Coast because up until age 15, I don't know anything about the West Coast. I'm from Jersey. Right, I'm born and raised in Jersey. I'm a 49er fan being from Jersey. I know that's nuts, but I'm a 49er fan being from Jersey. And I don't know anything about the West Coast until Ice Cube introduces me to his crew. I don't know nothing about the West Coast. All I know is that in Los Angeles, it's 75 degrees. Chicks walk around in bikinis all day. And the sun doesn't go down ever because, again, Monday Night Football is on at 9 o'clock on the East Coast and it's 6 o'clock over there. So the sun's still up. So I'm thinking the sun never goes down out west. So you being out west and you being a rapper, what influenced you in that manner?
Man, I mean, just basically everything you said, the palm trees and the sunshine, might be your herbal greenery, you know what I'm saying? All those things.
I heard the sticky different out there. I did. I heard the sticky a little different out there.
The sticky is different. Everybody that gets the best, they get it from Sonoma County up north. But yeah, no, just everything growing up, all the people that you mentioned, like Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. See, like, I have like 5 older brothers and sisters. So like growing up, they would show me influences like Aaliyah, Tupac, Biggie, everybody. They put me on music very, very young. So I just used to soak that up. I used to just be stuck in front of the TV watching like TRL or 106 in Park, just stuck. And I always knew this is what I wanted to do. I just, like I said, I'm Nigerian. So if I'm not a doctor or a lawyer in my family, then I didn't really live up to the standards. But as I progressed and my parents started to see my progress, they're like, okay, you can do this. You're doing a good job. So yeah, it was just growing up in California, and my brothers and sisters putting me on like Tupac and all them early. It's what really kind of shaped who I became as an artist.
So you grew up, like, I know you're in LA now, but were you Northern California?
Yes, yeah. So like the place that I grew up in high school, you guys probably never even heard of it. It's called Blythe, California. It's like 12,000 people, very small town. Outside of it's like an hour past Coachella, you know, that place where they have the music festivals. If you keep going down that road, you'll find a very small town, and that's where I grew up. And then when I was 18, I moved to San Diego State. I went to college, and then I moved to LA 8 years ago.
Nice.
Going full time ever since. Yeah.
I feel like I know Blythe. Is that like en route for? Because I used to drive from LA to Phoenix.
Yeah, oh, so you know, wow.
Well, I would pass it, right?
You might be one of the first people that actually know
okay.
where Blythe is, bro. Yeah, that's Blythe. Very small.
Yes, I used to get pulled over doing that run a couple times a month. Just so you know, you cannot cross the solid line. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Figured that out.
Yeah, the cops are anal over there.
So Xavier, when you started rhyming, I'm sure that it was something that was just for leisure. When did you realize, you know what, I'm kind of nice at this, and maybe I can take this somewhere?
Man, I would say probably that freshman year when I got to San Diego State. Everybody else was like enamored with like going to frats and sorority parties and all this stuff, and I was like, man, I'm trying to go to the studio. You know what I'm saying? And I would say that those first 2 years kind of helped shape the landscape for what I was gonna do up until like now. You know what I'm saying? Just getting in there and building your confidence and just, you know, shooting 1,000 shots a day, missing a lot, but then, you know, some of them stick. And then now we get in the studio. It's quick work. But I would say probably those culminating years were my freshman and sophomore year in college.
I can get with that. Sure. No doubt.
For those, I want to quickly shout out to everybody, our regulars in the comments. Keep the super chats coming. I am putting them aside. We're going to get to all the super chats, I promise. So keep sending those through. I want to fast forward a little bit, because a lot of us are playing NBA 2K. I'm now relearning how to play because my son keeps beating me, so I got to get better. How does the flip? How does it get our theme song? How does that get onto NBA 2K? Like, that's crazy.
Man, one day, the distributing service that I put it out through, United Masters, they normally correspond with me through email. Then one day I got a call from like a random number. I woke up, it was my boy Caesar. He's the A&R over at United Masters. He called me. He was like, "Yo, NBA 2K21 wants to use 3 of your records," and I was like, 3?
Not one, songs? 3 of them. Wow.
Yeah, 3 of my songs. So we ended up getting On the Coast, the play, and the flip in there. Yeah. And bro, like I called my mom, I called my brother, because I grew up playing that game ever since Iverson was on the cover in Dreamcast. You know what I'm saying? So like, being a basketball fan, it's rare because music's one of the only things that can outlive us. So no matter what, that song will always be in NBA 2K21. So like things like that are little benchmarks that, like, you know, a little pat on the back that make me feel like we're doing this, you know?
Yeah,
I love that. And listen, just for those listening in, for those watching, for those that are going to catch this on the audio podcast on Apple, Amazon, whatever later, we're going to do greatest rappers, greatest players, and I think we're going to talk Lakers. We're going to talk trading LeBron. We're going to talk about LeBron driving you out of LA. We'll get to all of that. Hailey, I know you got some other stuff in store, so I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, we'll take it. I mean, we want to answer your guys' questions in the chat as well. But let's start off. I mean, we talk sports, we talk life, but let's start off with a start bench cut of some rappers. There's nothing special about these 3. I just want to kind of get
nothing special.
I mean, they are all incredibly special, but nothing special about the various trios. They're just 3 rappers. Okay. I want to get a feel for kind of what you're going to ride with. So, Xavier, you start with this one. We got we got Wayne, and we got Jay-Z. Start bench cut.
How do you start with nothing special?
And then Wayne,
Jay-Z. Wow.
So this is gonna sound crazy. So I'm gonna start Wayne.
That's not crazy.
And then I'm gonna bench Jay-Z. And then Eminem.
Cut him.
That's not ridiculous to say.
Well, you got to remember too.
Those are 3.
You got to remember who we talking about now. So he grew up on Wayne. Wayne's his guy.
I grew up on Wayne. 05 Wayne is like
of course. So now me, on the other hand, I grew up on Jigga and Biggie. You know, those are the guys that I grew up on. So it might be a little bit different for me. I remember how Jigga was, him coming up, him starting. And then I saw the maturation of Jigga, just like you saw the maturation of Wayne, which it's not nuts that you would say that. I can get with that, sure. I could definitely.
I probably flipped the first two. I start Jay. I bench
Jay.
Wayne, and
Got
I
him.
don't know how.
We know you. We've talked about.
Yeah. You know I'm not a big.
You're not super high on him. I mean, you are, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, go.
I'm starting Jay. I'm starting Jay. I'm benching Slim, and I'm cutting Wayne. And not because and not because Wayne is whack. Because let's make sure that we 100% clear. Wayne is not whack. Wayne is super dope. Basically, what you did, H, is you put me up with Jordan, James, and Jabbar. That's what you just did. That's exactly what you just did. You told me to pick between Jordan, James, and Jabbar. So I mean, it's not like Jabbar is whack. It's not like Jordan is. Come on, man, you're killing me over here. So,
I wouldn't say Jordan, James, and Jabbar because I don't have any of those in my top 5.
I do.
Yeah.
I got Slim Slim and Jigga is in my top 5, no doubt.
No. My top 5 is controversial. My top 5, I admit, is controversial.
Can we hear this top 5?
We'll get.
We're gonna get to that. We definitely gonna get to that.
Yeah, we'll get through these other two. Okay. We got Kendrick, we got Nas, and we got Snoop. Xavier, you go.
How did you put these together? Kendrick.
I just picked three that were universally loved, and makes it hard.
Kendrick, Nas, and Snoop. Kendrick, Nas, and Snoop.
All right, so I'd say we're gonna start Kendrick, bench Snoop, and then we gotta cut Nas. We gotta let Nas go, respectfully.
Now you know why. You gotta remember why now. Who we talking to? We talking to a West Coast dude, so he grew up on that.
Okay.
We talking. It's not because he think Nas is whack. That's not true at all. He think Nas is dope. It's just we talking to a West Coast dude. So he grew up on Kendrick. He grew up on Snoop Dogg. Those are his people, right? So with that being said, that's what it's gonna look like. So, and a quick side note, I want to ask you a question really quick because I was raised in a time where lyrically it was very important what you said. Not only is it important what you say, but sounding different was the key to you being dope. So with that being said, you as a rapper, what is your different? What separates you from the rest of the guys?
Man, I think the ability to bar up. So like, even though I'm from the West Coast, my favorite rapper growing up of all time was Fabulous. Like I had all the throwbacks. I had the do-rags that matched the jerseys.
F-A-B-O-U-L-S.
F-A-B-O-L-O-U-S. You know how he was the first one to kind of merge the R&B records with the smooth flows. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that especially now, lyricism isn't really shine, that there's not really a light on lyricism or anything like that. So I just try to make sure every record I'm barring up, you know what I'm saying? Like there's always a couple quotables. I know that people like to really write in captions now more so, but I just want to come with bars and just keep it authentic to me. And I don't really talk about things that don't pertain to me. Like I'm not on records talking about gunplay or doing things that don't apply to me. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I'm authentic, and on records you might pick up a thing or two that pertain to my real life, and I just try to be transparent.
Word. I can get with that. I can definitely get with that.
Is it me? I gotta.
It's you.
Oh, all right. So let me. I'm gonna start Kendrick. I'm gonna bench Nas, and I'm cutting Snoop. Damn. I'm sorry, cuz. Nephew, I'm sorry.
Nephew.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that's crazy.
When I was living in LA, I might have gave a different answer.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you couldn't walk around and say that. All right, last one. We got Tupac, we got 50 Cent, and we got Dr. Dre.
You said Tupac, 50 Cent, and Dr. Dre?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start Pac. We're gonna bench 50.
That's easy.
And then Dre gotta go.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy.
We're gonna cut Dre.
You agree?
With all due respect.
Dre was the track master. That's who Dre was. Dre was a track master who rhymed. Dre wasn't a rapper who produced tracks. No, Dre was the track master. No doubt about that. So that I think that's simple. I don't think that was that difficult. No doubt.
My only issue with cutting Dre is because why I hesitated for a second was because I was mixing in what he did, not just like as a rapper, but yes, everything he did. Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Okay, my question to you is, so obviously we've seen probably, I don't know how old you are, but probably since like obviously like 20, 30 years ago. And then as we started growing up until now, rap has completely changed. Like,
yeah,
just the way that, like you were talking about, lyrics have changed. Is there more emphasis on the actual like audio more than the, you know, the actual words? How do you feel about like current rap?
yeah. I mean, it's changing. I mean, it's always going to be like an evolving thing. You know what I'm saying? So I never want to get stuck into the past.
I guess I mean
think
like the mumble thing, if you know what I mean. You know,
Oh,
like what I'm
yeah.
talking
You had a
about. How do you feel
specific
about that?
She talking about. I think she talking about
Yeah.
trap music and
there's a lot of subgenres popping up now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everything
Yeah.
doesn't have to be lyrical miracle. I guess it's just as long as there's an audience for it to connect, then
Mhm.
then it could stick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I try not to pander based on what's hot. I
Mhm.
try to just stick to whatever
Yeah.
I think is dope, and then give that to the people, and hopefully it resonates.
No doubt.
But
Yeah.
as far as the mumble rap, there's a lane for it. You know, there's songs that I enjoy
Yeah.
that might not be the most like serious tone records, but I definitely enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? It's forever changing. I think that there's a lot of music being put out every day, so the market may feel a little oversaturated at times, but I mean, I guess it's just like I said, it's forever changing, and we just have to adapt accordingly, or you get left behind, right?
Interesting. You mentioned that too, man, because you just talked about lyrics, because I heard your track Deep and I'm like, that's the one right there. I'm definitely feeling that.
One.
Definitely
Oh,
feeling
so
deep.
much.
Definitely feeling deep. So when I think about a rapper, one of the first things that I think about, especially being an older guy, is I gotta dig what you're saying. Because if you listen to rap and you hear a guy, you can tell right off the top that this dude ain't talking about nothing, and he's not gonna last long because he's just a gimmick. I don't feel like that with you. I don't feel like you're just a gimmick.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get in and stay in for 10 at least, man. That's like the barometer where they judge legends by, is how long you can stick around. You know, people pop up now, especially with a lot of people chasing viral. That's a double-edged sword, because you end up getting like a really big record, and then can you follow it up with something? Or like because I was always drawn to like the album cuts of like my favorite projects, not even necessarily the singles that were like popular on the radio. It's the album cuts that made me fans of like Drake and these other people. So like I'm just trying to focus on making like the dopest music possible, and then we'll get to whatever the singles are later. But no gimmicks over here. I'm honestly trying to peel back the layers and like show more of myself, because I was from this era of like where there were layers up before, you know, like now they want to know what you eat for breakfast. You have to show the fans everything.
Right.
And it's like content. But I'm used to like, you know, keeping some kind of layers of privacy up, and then you reveal them slowly as the album rollout comes, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, no gimmicks over here. I try to stay away from that.
And it's hard to do that too, yo. It's hard to do that when you constantly got to give material. It's hard to stay private. It's hard to keep things that you want to keep close to the vest. It's hard to do that.
Yeah. It's very hard in today's day and age. Like people always want to know, where's your girlfriend at, or why aren't you tagging her, or or for instance, like when my mom was sick in the hospital, like some people would have maybe tried to use that, like, yo, my mom's sick, download my album tomorrow. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it starts to get tricky, and you don't know what's genuine. So I just always been trying to like stay true to like who I've been from the beginning, and just keep it about the music and try to cultivate a fan base.
I'm sorry to interrupt you too, Tom. But also, it also seems like you can find that out too. Like guys, you could tell if that's corny. He's corny. Like a guy is coming out, and you know his mother is sick, and you know he wants to put like this dude is kind of corny. Like you could tell, and you can see right through that. It doesn't take long to find that out with this dude.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess right now the butt of the corny joke is Russell Wilson, but like it's kind of like you can see like there's things you can feel when people are genuine or not. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of see that right away, especially in this industry, man. It's a lot of clout based things, but what happens when that clout runs out? Where's the substance? Is the music going to stand on its own? You know what I'm saying? So I just try to always keep it about the music.
Word.
Yeah, I want to touch on something to go back a step, because Hailey had asked kind of about the mumble rap, and you brought up other different genres of rap, and I want to say, like someone who's seen the evolution. Like I remember when I first started listening to hip hop, it was very that's the breaks. Everybody had like one style, and seeing all the subgenres and stuff, even now today, like that's a good thing. I keep telling people, whether you like it or don't, it's a good thing because they're testing the boundaries. Some of it's going to stick, some of it's not. Like I think back to like rock, there was a certain way that rock was, and then grunge came out and everyone's like, what the hell is this? But then grunge became mainstream because it was like, oh, there's some good stuff going on here. So I don't like, I don't want to say I don't like it or I don't hate it. It's just I like the fact that they're pushing the limits and trying different things. Even auto-tune was a new thing at one point and no one was doing it, and then everybody was doing it. So I'm okay with that. I like experiment. Like I think back to like one of the like my first rappers that I ever like heard and like, you know, went out and bought the record, like LL Cool J. I remember, I want to say Walking with the Panther, he came out with I Need Love and 2 different words, right? And everyone's like, why is this rapper doing love songs? Find me one that doesn't. Find me one that doesn't now, right? Like it just
that's like
he pushed the envelope. So I'm okay with people trying new stuff.
Me too. A lot of the best artists are in some of those subgenres. Like may he rest in peace, Juice WRLD was really big in that like kind of emo rapper world, like and Triple X had a very huge, one of the biggest fan bases we'll ever see for a young artist. So like and that's not necessarily traditional like Tupac, Biggie type raps, you know what I'm saying? These different genres keep popping up. Lil Uzi does kind of whatever genre that is, where you would consider Playboy Cardi, you know, it kind of does like the mumble rap, and he has a very big fan base. So it's like it doesn't always have to be tough guys with guns, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever, as long as you can connect with someone out there, you know.
There's a lane for that. There's an absolute lane for that. There's a lane for every kind of rapper. There's the NWA rapper. There's the Tribe Called Quest rapper. There's the Xavier. There's the Xavier rapper. There's a lane for each one of these dudes. So with that being said, I'm not gonna look at you because you're not NWA hard thinking that you whack. No, I'm looking at you thinking, this is his genre. I'm feeling this dude. How am I feeling him compared to the other people in that genre?
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's how it should be. We should judge it each case by itself.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. You're always gonna have some fan base, or you're always gonna have somebody that relates to you and your music, and so I want to ask you though, just to give you a chance not only to plug your tracks, but kind of share a story. Like, is there one track that comes to mind that you've made in your time? It could have been the first one, the last one, or somewhere in between that kind of holds the biggest weight in your heart. When you made it, you're like, this is like my story. This is me encompassed in a song. Or one that you would say, like, if you could go listen to one, this is the first one I would want you to hear.
I would say if I had to choose a record, it honestly might be the Flip. It might be the Flip. I would say that's probably the song I've probably ever written the fastest. And I don't pride myself on making things fast. I don't necessarily think that if you make a song fast, it's better than the song that you took 2 days on. But it's just kind of like the second verse. I start off by saying, might do 20 in the left, arm out, pouring liquor out for F. That's a part of my life because that's my best friend. We moved to Los Angeles together, and he passed away from a heart condition. So like everything we've been like, we met in 3rd grade, and it's kind of like I'm finishing up the mission that we started together because he found Fruity Loops. He's like, man, you should try rapping. And we were probably like 13 at the time, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we started out together. So like when I every time I perform that song, when I start that second verse, I gotta kind of hold back and not like get too emotional because I'm like, my boy's gone, and like we're in NBA 2K21 and he can't even hear it, you know what I'm saying? Or like all these are the accomplishments that are coming, like when the video gets on TV or whatever, or we get another placement on Netflix or whatever. I just always think about how he's not here. So like I'd say the Flip probably matters the most to me.
We'll play that again as we go out because that is one of my favorite tracks too. And yes, to those in the chat, we're trading LeBron, but we're gonna get there. Hailey, where are we going next? I'm ready to trade LeBron. I'm calling up Rob Pelinka right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're ready to get into it, are we ready for this?
Let's do it.
Well, first we got to start with how LeBron hijacked the Lakers and made you become Laker fan, leave our Laker fandom and go to the Pelicans. The Pelicans fan?
Been a Laker fan since Nick Van Exel, Cedric Ceballos. I had the 23 Ceballos, man. Like Eddie Jones, obviously Kobe's my favorite player of all time. But the infrastructure and the integrity of the league has just shifted from when I was younger to now, where the players have more. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing that the players have all this power, but you used to have to build through the draft and, you know, strategic trades every now and then. But LeBron came through and traded all the young guys, all the franchise pillars that you see on other teams now: Julius Randle, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, who's my current favorite player in the NBA. So once they got rid of old boy for the worm, I was like, oh no, this is over. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. So I became a fan of the Pelicans. And at the time, you know, people laughed, but now we have an actual roster. Last year, we took the Suns to 6 games with an underachieving squad, and now we're primed in position to be something this year. And it's no shade against LeBron. However he wants to run his business, he can run it. But for me personally, I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore, man. Because I mean, look at the Lakers now. I don't think, and as a basketball enthusiast, that bubble ring isn't worth what we're going through right now.
Don't you dare say that.
Respectfully, I mean, I just
straight though.
And
I mean,
I don't know if AD's a franchise.
Toughest ring in NBA history is the bubble ring.
No.
Any tournament that Kevin Durant and Steph Curry isn't a part of just kind of feels a little, you know.
Well, Tone to tell you, I got a man crush on Herb Jones, and Tone to tell you that.
I'm telling you,
I love
That's what got him on ESPN talking about Herb Jones.
Tone to tell you, I got a man crush on Herb Jones. He's gonna be yeah, he hyperextended his knee, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks. He's not up for the season.
They got Trey Murphy, like they're building it the right way through the draft and just collecting little assets here and there. You know,
absolutely.
Graham is a great bench point guard. Like we got a squad now. Jose Alvarado's offense is picking up. Like my take has been that we're going to be this year's Memphis, and right now we're 3-1. You know, and as long as our franchise pillars can stay healthy, we'll be right there at the end.
Yeah, I said they're probably they're the scariest team when healthy. Because if you think about them healthy, Zion, Ingram, even McCollum, Herb Jones, your guy, Jose guy, that's the guy that always waits off in the baseline, right, and sneaks up behind you and steals the ball. Is that
he locked up Chris Paul in the playoffs.
If I was playing against him, I hate that dude.
Yeah, no, he's a pest. He's one of those people where you love him if he's on your team, you hate him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you need one of those, which something that the Lakers. Yeah, I mean, we have to get into the Lakers because there's just so much to pick apart with them right now. Obviously, we know they're shooting like 26 from the 3, which is absolutely garbage. They are. And Jay, I remember talking to you about this because we were talking about the Lakers and the Nets, and I was like, okay, I might give the Nets like a little leeway, and maybe, which that's a whole nother issue. But the Lakers, I think we all knew that they were just gonna crash and burn. And Xavier, you obviously saw it from 3 years ago. I want to know, when you traded for when the Lakers traded for Russ, how did you feel about that? Was that kind of the point where you're like, I'm done, or was it even before that?
It was honestly as soon as they traded away Brandon Ingram, but I still because I grew up a Laker fan, I still watch every game because like it's on the local TV here. So like this, especially this year, you just see the roster they constructed. It's like they're trying to build the Avengers of players that have no jumper. Like they're fine. If you don't have a jumper, you don't have a jumper. Come on over here and play for
Nobody
us.
has a jumper. Why'd I feel over?
Nobody has a jumper. Like you can literally, if teams wanted to just like play a 2-3 zone, they would shoot even worse than 26% or whatever you said they're shooting right now. Yeah. It's honestly mind-boggling how Pelinka got an extension based on the rosters he's constructed.
They won a championship 2 years ago. That's why they won a championship. Had they not won a championship, he would have been gone. He would have been gone.
And you're right. I just don't know what they expect when they put Pat Bev next to Russ in the backcourt and in a day where it's space and shoot, right? Everybody's spacing the floor, trying to pull people out to 30 feet. And I just don't see where they're going to get that shooting from this year. I don't know.
Could they be low key? Could they be low key tanking for Wembanyama?
Get his name. It's Wembanyama.
Get his name straight. My own last name. Say it.
That's what we were talking about. Like, is that what they're doing?
Wembanyama.
Victor Wembanyama.
Wembanyama.
Yes, sir.
Did you guys watch the game last night where they played the Nuggets?
I did watch the game.
Yeah.
LeBron seemed detached. I don't know. He didn't seem like he really cared. I don't know. Maybe I don't think they're tanking, but maybe they're gonna try and trade for Buddy Hield or something. They need to space the floor.
Am I really listening to two people tell me that the Lakers, who LeBron James just signed an extension this summer that just passed, he's on a crew that's tanking? Is that what I'm listening to now?
No, I don't mean that they're tanking on purpose. I'm just saying, look,
what's going on around here? What am I listening to?
Answer your question, Hailey. When they traded for Russ, I thought disaster. But let's be honest, they traded for Russ, right? Because Braun vouched for him and said, let's trade for Russ. He's an LA guy. He has a house here. Russ called him up, said, come on, let's play together. But we knew it wasn't going to work. No one said, oh, this makes a lot of sense. No one said that. Everyone said, AD, Braun, get some shooters, get some 3-and-D guys, you're set. They've got no 3. Now, here's the funny part. The Lakers are playing significantly better defense than they played last year.
They are.
Significantly better.
It's like a flip-flop. Like last season, they were terrible defensively, but they were really good offensively. This year, garbage offensively.
Trash. They can't hit water from a boat. So why did we post-trade LeBron? Well, let's be honest. You're not winning with LeBron. Listen, this is proof. This is proof. When I say, when I always say no one player carries a team, stop saying shit like that. Stop it, because getting stats, and this isn't on LeBron, this is on every player ever. Oh, he led the team in this. He led the team in those stats, these stats, whatever. It's about your supporting cast, and this is proof. Because if you look at LeBron and you look at AD, and their numbers look good. Their numbers look good. They're doing all right. But what's the team doing? Nothing. Because those people, those superstar players, they're going to give you what they give you. It's those other guys. You and me and Jay talk about this all the time. The dirty work guys, the guys that are going to dive for loose balls, set screens, hit jumpers when Braun or AD is being doubled or triple teamed. They have no one. After the initial 2, they've got no one that can do that. So when I say trade LeBron, I said this in the summer. I know it sounds like blasphemy, but hold on. How many years does Braun have left? 3, maybe? And I know it sounds crazy, but don't you think you could get for Braun a healthy AD right now? Russ, I know Russ is, no one wants to touch Russ, but that $40 million expiring contract gets you something. I think I can put together a championship contending team if I just trade those dudes away. And it's crazy because you're saying he's still a top 5, top 10 player in the league. I get it. He's going to be either 1 or 2 greatest player of all time already if he retired today. I get it. He's about to pass Kareem in the all-time scoring. I get all that. But if I'm strictly talking basketball and I'm eliminating emotion, that's the best thing to do. Because they're not a good team. Are they going to a chip? Jay, are they going to a chip? Hailey, are they going to the chip? Xavier, they going to the chip? No one's going to say yes. Why not do it?
Here's the thing, Xavier, and he just alluded to this. It's essentially like you are the maestro. You are the guy who, at the end of the night, we see you on stage when it's 15,000, it's 20,000 people at the show. You are the LeBron James of this crew. What we don't see is we don't see the guys carrying the speakers. We don't see the sound guys, right? We don't see the guys setting up the show. That's the dirty work guys, right? Those are the people. Those are the dirty work guys who I care about the most, because in order for your thing to work, these guys got to work. That's the only way this whole thing works. In order for your thing to work. Now, if you don't put the right guys around Xavier, you might have a whack show. Your sound system is whack, right? The mic is whack. And then now people see your show and they're like, yo, we saw this dude Xavier at the show. He was whack. The sound was whack. The lighting was whack. When in reality, your show might not be that whack. In fact, it's really good. You just got the wrong people around.
No, it's a fact. I wonder, is there a scenario where LeBron could play off ball and take more of a slasher role where Westbrook controls the ball, or like AD in the post?
Can you teach a dog new tricks? An old dog new tricks?
Well, that's.
Can you change a leopard's spots? You can't take a guy.
Anyone could do it. It's LeBron, though. I think LeBron could adapt over anybody else.
Really? You could tell LeBron after 19 years of being ball dominant. Did you see the game last night? What happened in the game last night? Lakers were close with about 4 minutes left. I think it was 3 or 4 minutes left in the game. What happened? LeBron, 3, miss. LeBron gets the ball in the wing.
He needs to stop.
Miss. LeBron gets the ball again, drive, miss. I saw a lot of this. I got fouled. But I saw a bunch of him taking it himself and missing. Now, granted, that's because no one on his team can shoot the damn ball. So either you could trade 1, 2, or 3 of those guys, or do you think they could start trading everybody and find some people who shoot threes and like 3-and-D guys, like everybody? I think that's a lot harder. Now, there's
last night, trade AD was trending on Twitter. I wonder if they don't try to trade him. I mean, I don't.
But does he have value with
healthy? I think healthy he does. Yeah, now that he's healthy.
Yeah, I think healthy he has value. I wish he played more like KG instead of KD. I wish he just hit the post. I wish he just hit the block. And
he doesn't want to. He wants to play outside. He doesn't want to be as big.
He floats around the perimeter. I know he had that growth spurt like junior to senior year, so I kind of feel like in his mind he thinks he's a guard still.
Well, here's the thing though. Zach. I got to get this dude.
X.
How about X? His name ain't Javier, it's Xavier. Okay.
Yes, sir.
My fault, X. So that's who AD is, right? Yeah. But the problem is that's what the game is today, right? The game is the big guy plays on the perimeter. How many times have you seen Joel Embiid stop 20 feet short of the basket because he wants to shoot the long ball? How many times have you seen Joker standing outside? Well, that's what the game is, right? Shaq is gone. David Robinson is gone. Olajuwon is gone, right? Those guys are gone. So Joker, Embiid, Giannis, those are the big guys today. I tell Tone this all the time. These guys today, Giannis, Joker, Embiid, they're more like updated software. They basically those dudes from back then, only except they just a little bit different. That's what the game is today. So we can't expect. Can we expect to see Anthony Davis get on the block? Because I know listening to you talk, X, it sounds to me like you want to see AD on the box, begging for the ball and just straight bullying guys.
Yeah, just give me one step in, duck in, throw up a little hook. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Why not let Russ bring up the ball and put LeBron in the post?
That works too.
Put LeBron in the post.
That does work.
What do aging superstars do? They go in the post. Every single one.
Only problem with James is that he still can do the things today that he could do 5 years ago. So that's the difference.
Great. So on the break, do it. But in the half court, go down on the block. Play bully ball, because who's the center? With odd exceptions, most of the centers are 6'9", the same height as you, and you're bigger and stronger and faster than them.
This is the problem. This is the problem that we have with the Lakers.
Bron's an alien. He's 40 years old and he can still run and jump faster than 90% of the league.
Right.
Take advantage of it.
Right. Well, this is the problem that we having with this team. And X, you just mentioned it. You stay in your lane, right? This is what I rhyme about. This is what I talk about. This is what I'm good at. So we got this Laker team that's constructed the way it's constructed. Do we think that they're going to win the NBA championship? No, I don't think that. However, the way that this team is constructed, we see how good they are defensively. So let's play off of that, right? Let's play off of that, because offensively, all I'm getting from these guys is I'm getting guys who shoot the long ball or go to the basket. Where is the in-between game? The in-between game works because now what that does, that expands the defense. If you're not getting anything in between, these guys are slagging underneath the basket and they're just staying there. And you're not getting, like, I'm watching Nunn turn down 14-footers to drop the ball in the AD and it's getting turned over. If you can get the mid-range going, which is what the Lakers could be good at. They could absolutely be good at that.
Ooh.
And then they could be good at that. Tone, you can't tell me that can't tell me, Tone, that a starting two guard in the NBA can't consistently knock down a 17-footer. You can't tell me that, Tone.
Who on the Lakers can shoot? Tell me.
Okay, it's the difference between shooting threes and knocking down a consistent 17-footer. Lonnie Walker can do that. Kendrick Nunn can knock down a 16 or 17-footer consistently. You don't have to shoot the long ball. Here's the problem that we have. The problem that we having is 41 threes in game one, 42 threes in game two, 33 threes. You guys aren't good enough, and this team isn't constructed to play like that. You're going to get your doors blown off. We have to change the way we play. Otherwise, this thing is not gonna work. X, I'm having a difficult time seeing Anthony Davis and LeBron James not make the playoffs again healthy.
You know how bad they made me look? Because I said when they're both healthy, when they play together, 70%.
I remember.
And now they start off playing every single game together and losing everyone.
Mm-hmm. Is this the first time we've ever seen
let me get
Hall of Famers
real quick? Oh, sorry, what's that?
Not make the playoffs?
Ooh.
Say that. We'll say that.
I just can't see it, X. I can't, man. I can't see it happening.
Is this the first time we've ever seen three potential Hall of Fame players not make the playoffs like this? Like this looks.
If they keep this up and stay healthy, like we've seen,
can't see it, man. I
seen them injured, but never. All right, here's our super chat. We'll do a super chat, guys. If you want some more questions, send the super chats along. This is from sis. Hailey, you want to read it? Or you want me to read it?
Yeah, I got it. Do y'all think Bron is playing it safe so he breaks the record this season? And once he does, he will go back to his more aggressive play style. X, what do you think?
Has he been playing?
Is he playing safe?
No, I think he's playing the same game he's always playing. Like he's still trying to blow by people, get the shoulder past him, and then rise above them. I think he might know that this roster might not have the pieces necessarily to win a championship. So, I mean, after everything he's done in his career, if he's focused on this passing Kareem, I can't blame him because, like I said, Kobe's my favorite player of all time. But when Kobe was LeBron's age, he was
over.
He wasn't over. He wasn't Kobe.
You know what I'm saying? It was over. So
over.
To even see LeBron playing at this level, it's hard for me to pick it for me to pick apart his game because it's a year 20. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he might just be focused on the scoring title.
Yeah.
Passing Kareem in that sense.
I'm just having a difficult time with the logic that these guys, this is going to continue. The Lakers have to change their style of play. That's the only way this is going to work, X. That's the only.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing.
You as a rapper, the way you rhyme, the production that you have, you're not going to turn around one day and start rhyming like Ice Cube. You're not going to do that because that's not you. You have to stick to what works. When I look at the Lakers and I look at the way this roster is constructed, we can't honestly believe with this roster being constructed this way that we're going to be able to compete with the Warriors and the Clippers and Minnesota and all of these teams shooting the long ball all night. We're not good enough to do that.
They should just pound them inside. They should just really just dominate inside.
So
I don't understand why you feel people can't reinvent themselves. Why can't people? Everlast went from dancing around in a suit to jumping around to Whitey Ford. Why can't Bron? Why can't?
Well, he already did. Well, here's the thing, X. He did already invent himself, reinvent himself. Well, how do I know that? Well, James was a downhill, going to the basket guy. Well, rewind the clock. Especially. Well, not only that, but rewind the clock back to the Miami days and when he went back to Cleveland. He started to implement the long ball in his game. Why did he do that? Because this is the way the game is going. And if I want to stick around, I got to get good at this. Otherwise, my body isn't going to hold up, and I'm not going to last that long. So if you notice, he put the fall-away 18-footer in his game. His mid-range got better. And the reason why is because this is the way the game is going. As opposed to, I'm just going to keep putting my head down, and I'm just going to keep going to the basket. He wouldn't have lasted. He wouldn't have lasted. So I've seen LeBron reinvent himself. He doesn't have to do that. What you're talking about, Tone, to that extreme right now, but I think we're moving toward that.
So Straightway Georgia in the chat, and several people agreed with him, says that having this conversation of trading Bron honestly makes no sense because he's not up for a trade. No. So in that regard, if we're talking about, because you're right, Jay, we cannot, or they can't continue this season the way and the path that they're on, or we are going to see them miss the playoffs in the most embarrassing, disgusting way. Like it just can't happen. So what do you think, X? Like, as far as, do you gut the team? Do you trade Westbrook? I mean, I don't know. I'd love to know your feelings on Russ, because I know it kind of goes both ways. But we saw last night, he didn't play and they still look bad. Is Russ really the problem? Like, obviously he's part of the problem. He needs to work on those turnovers and slowing down the game as much as he can, or in the moments that he can. Obviously his IQ isn't where LeBron's is, but do they trade some of these guys, these, role players? Because, like, I know they have Matt Ryan and they're like, oh, he's going to be that shooter for us. Really? Like, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not convinced about that quite yet.
As the other Matt Ryan is a quarterback.
I was going to say, let's just get the other Matt Ryan and see what he can do.
They both are on the bench.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah, no, because like my dad's a huge Laker fan. Like, he might love LeBron more than he loves me, to be honest. So like, he told me, he was telling me, like, he was like naming the roster. He's like, Matt Ryan. I was like, Dad, you keep saying Matt Ryan. You're talking about the quarterback?
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, we have a knockdown shooter named Matt Ryan. So
no.
I was like, okay. as I look at the roster as it's currently constructed, I think that I know that that Russ has been the scapegoat, but if you're not going to trade AD, you can't trade LeBron. I get you might have to trade Russ for some shooters. I know Russ is gonna bring it every night. He's gonna definitely try his hardest, but like you said, his IQ in certain situations. Like I know you guys saw the clip the other night, against the Blazers when he came down and shot the premature jump shot, and then LeBron and those guys kind of rolled their eyes.
Yeah.
But hold on, time out. Can I call time out real quick, because I seen Russ getting a lot of hate for that. Did you see the play right before that?
Yeah, when James stepped aside and
right before that.
When James stepped aside and shot a
three and clanged it off the front of the rim. Did the exact same thing.
No one take the last shot.
I just feel like Russ is playing horrible, but I also feel that he's getting more of the blame than he should for how bad this team is as a whole. This team, really, the problem is, be it Rob Pelinka or LeBron, whoever put this roster together, that's the blame, because the roster is atrocious.
And then are we sure that Darvin Ham is fit for the job? I mean,
who would be? Is anybody?
See, that's the thing right there. Like you just said it. We just got him. And again, in Los Angeles, we don't have time for this, because we got guys on the roster that are aging right before our eyes. So if you're gonna bring in a guy, he needs to be established. Even though Darvin Ham does have some championship experience, he's been on championship teams, but is he the guy fit for this unit?
Well, he's the guy that they could get. Guys, let's be honest. They tried to get other coaches. They didn't want it because they saw last year's roster was a bunch of old farts that couldn't get it done. And they said, we're just going to bring in a bunch of young guys. No, that doesn't get it done either. They still brought in the wrong type of guys, which brings us to Eddie P, who says,
I hate the argument of, have we ever seen 3 Hall of Famers do X? Outside of AD, these dudes aren't in their prime. Did anyone freak out when Kobe, GP, Karl Malone, and Shaq didn't win? Prime.
Yes, they did. Absolutely, they did. Are you kidding me?
Hold on, but they didn't win in the finals. They went to the finals.
Yes, we did.
So
we freaked out. We freaked out. We freaked out.
I even made an excuse. I said the only reason they didn't win. I said the only reason they didn't win was because Karl Malone got hurt. I even made an excuse.
I thought they were going to win the NBA championship. Had Malone not gotten hurt, I thought they were going to win the NBA championship.
I'll never forget that. Like, losing to Boston was one thing, but to see Rip Hamilton give us buckets, unforgivable.
Well, here's the thing too, X, and it's interesting you mentioned the 2004 Pistons, because that's what I'm thinking about with the Lakers. Now, well, OG, what do you mean the 2004 Pistons? The Pistons didn't have a 25 a game guy. They didn't have a 27 a game guy. But you know what they did? They played
15 a game guys.
And you know what they did though, Tone? They played in the mid range, and their defense dictated their offense. So if you look at this Laker team, how was it constructed? Pat Bev, Anthony Davis, one of the better rim protectors and rebounders in the game. James looking like he's 34, 33 years old, playing on the perimeter, actually getting his hands and keeping busy. This team is one of the best defensive teams, which goes back to my original point that this is the way this roster is constructed. This is the way that these guys may need to play, as opposed to, we're going to play like the Warriors. We're going to play like the Clippers. We're going to play like Brooklyn. We don't have that kind of personnel to do that, which is why we look like we trash.
We have another super chat entering the building. This one from Tree 22. I'm guessing.
Yeah. So the roster is bad because they had no money to get depth due to Russ's $47 million. When you have 3 max guys, if they aren't all dominating, you're going to suck because you have no money for anything other than minimum guys.
And that logic doesn't work. And you know why that logic doesn't work? Because the Miami Heat won the NBA championship with 3 max guys, and they had a bunch of
they had a much better supporting cast,
right? And what. Like you just said, they had a better supporting cast, Tone, and that supporting cast was put together by who? None other than
Pat Riley.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that,
it was put together by who?
They were able. They were able to get guys to. It ain't really that difficult. I mean, can we be honest? It ain't really that hard, X, for me to sell you to come to Miami. I mean, I ain't like I'm trying to sell you to come to Minnesota. I ain't trying to sell you to come to Portland.
Hey.
Tone, those lights in Los Angeles playing for the Lakers are a little bit different than they are playing for the Houston Rockets. They're a little bit different playing for the Brooklyn. Tone, we talking about a guy in Lonnie Walker who shoots 35% in the long ball, in San Antonio. He can't hit the side of a barn in Los Angeles. Those lights might be a little bit brighter in Los Angeles than they are. Russell Westbrook, he went 19-8-7 last year. Tone, can you name me 5 guards in the NBA that went 19-8-7 last year? And we're talking about Russ sucks.
That's fair. That's
Where's
fair.
where's THT? Where did he get traded?
Who?
He's on the Jazz.
THT? Oh, he is.
Mhm.
I didn't hear who
They're
you are.
playing well randomly right now.
Meanwhile, they're in
THT.
first place. Meanwhile, the Jazz is in first place.
Yeah.
But THT was on the crew last year. And X, I'm sure you was like, what is this dude doing on our crew?
No expectations is that what you're saying. These guys. So you know what? But do you want players that can't perform on the brightest stage? Because when you get to the finals, are they just going to choke? And let me go back to Tree 22, because it was a good super chat. Let me just say this. Yes, if your he did make a valid point in the sense that if your 3 star players are playing crap, sure, every team's going to be bad, but they're not playing crap. That's the thing. Russ maybe, but AD and Braun statistically are playing well. I think that's what's confusing people is that they're healthy, they're putting up their numbers. It's everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they start looking around the league to the disgruntled veterans. Like I saw the other day, the Rockets young guys were getting in a fight at the end of the game, and Eric Gordon was just sitting there kind of looking in bewilderment. Do you start looking at guys like Eric Gordon who can space the floor and just try to pluck them from their current situation?
Well,
I would
Don't
look
get
at
me
guys
started
like,
on
I would
him.
look at guys like Eric Gordon. I would honestly. There's a dude that because I'm with this team every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dude in Toronto, Malachi Flynn, who's a
San Diego State
three-point shooter who's he's stuck on the bench.
Stuck.
Maybe they could pluck him away for something. He's not getting any playing time anyways.
If
1 or 2 shooters that could keep the defense honest, I think they're in a much better shape.
Just so you know, with that logic, Tone, and I don't know if you know this, X, but Matt Ryan, the knockdown shooter that the Lakers had, he was on Boston last year, and he wasn't even in the rotation.
No, I
Now
didn't know that.
now we get to Los Angeles, and we get to play for the Lakers, and it's the F.
I don't know why you guys are fronting. It's the same Matt Ryan.
The crypto. I forget. I always call it the Staples Center.
It's always going to be Staples.
That's what I'm sorry, X. I call it the Staples Center. But those lights in the Staples Center are a little bit brighter than they are in other places.
What's it called? The
Crypto.com arena.
Crypto.com arena.
Okay, the
Crazy.
crap.com
I don't know how much longer we got you, X, but I do want to get into your top 5 rappers. I definitely want to.
We'll do this one last super chat, and then we'll get into his top 5 NBA players of all time, and then we'll do our top 5 rappers. Okay.
Yep.
Tree 22 with another super chat. Shout out to Tree 22.
Yeah, appreciate you, Tree. Keywords, the 3 Max guys were all playing like Max players. You have to watch Russ play. It's much more than the box score numbers.
Yes,
and Lonnie is averaging 16 a game while playing well defensively.
Correct, he is.
Okay. So why can't they win a game, Tree? Everybody got quiet.
Where to begin?
We already know why they can't win the game, because they're shooting the long ball like everybody else. I'm sorry if I interrupted you, X. Go ahead.
I looked at their schedule, and I was watching the game yesterday with a friend who's a Rockets fan, and I honestly think that they might go until November 11th till they get a victory.
Tone, I told you, Tone, don't get me started. X, don't get me started, because I told Tone they can start the season 0-10. They can do that.
They can.
This team,
hold on.
See?
Yeah, who did they play?
Hold on. Let's look at this.
Okay.
Pull it up and then let me know.
I'm pulling it up right now. Let's be realistic. All right, so they lost. Okay, here we go. So they lost to
the Warriors.
Yeah,
they lost to the Warriors. They lost to the Trailblazers. They lost to Portland. They lost last night to Denver. Now who's next, Tone?
Timberwolves tomorrow.
Oh,
that might be that may be an L.
But hang on. The T-Wolves have looked a little shaky. Like, I don't think they're super consistent. So that's a possible one.
And
I think they could do it. I think that they could do it.
The Timberwolves, then the Nuggets again.
And the Nuggets again.
Yeah. Nope.
Keep going, Tone.
Hold on. It stopped. Hold on. My thing froze. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
I know they got the Cavs, Clippers in there somewhere as well coming up.
Oh my God.
Oh. Yeah, I'd say no. 0-2 on those.
Okay, so we got the Timberwolves. Yes, I accept your cookies. We got the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, the Pelicans,
the
Jazz, the Cavs, the Jazz again, the Clippers, and on November 11th in Canada, that's Remembrance Day. we will remember the Lakers got a win against the Kings.
Maybe
that was the one I circled. That was
Okay.
X. I'm looking at maybe Utah. I'm looking at maybe Utah.
I would hope.
Yeah, I'm looking at maybe Utah because I'm looking at that Utah team and they're fool's gold. It's early right now. They are fool's gold. Don't believe that. When we get into January, we get into late December, we get into January, we get into the dog days of the season. I think we're going to see a different Jazz team. But oh man,
damn,
it's a slippery slope.
It is. It's very simple. Yes, it is, y'all. Yes, it is.
All right. Xavier, why don't we do top 5 rappers? I would love to hear. I mean, if you have them on the top of your head, I know sometimes it switches around, but
yeah. Like no specific order, just 5.
Yeah.
Or you want, okay, yeah, okay.
I want the order if you can.
Oh,
if you can
put him in order. Okay, I mean, I'd say 1. I go Pac. I go Wayne. I would say Hove.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the recent transgressions and things he's doing in the media, I would say Ye.
Kanye West is super nice. Let's cut the nonsense about the nonsense that's going on.
Yeah.
Lyrically, he was in production. He was super nice. Let's cut it out.
Yeah.
And then I can't leave this boy off. He just makes too many hits, man. I say Aubrey bringing up number 5. Drake.
Yes.
I like it.
I can get with that. I can definitely get with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had too many hits to deny, bro. Like it's a joke at this point.
I can get with that.
Yeah.
I mean, how many rappers have been around for 10 summers?
10 summers running the charts like this. 10 healthy summers too,
right.
Not like holding on like 10 at the top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's ridiculous.
We've got a GM in the building, so we're gonna talk about your top 5 rappers. 1 second. Let me just because we have a GM in the building.
Okay.
Straightway Georgia, Elder Rufus with the super chat. Simple fix. He's fixing the Lakers just like that.
Okay.
Trade Russ to the Hornets.
I've heard that trade.
You got this for Hey, PJ, and Oubre.
Whoa. Of all of you guys in here, you guys have watched basketball and you know some smart people. Don't get me wrong. Do you honestly think Jordan is giving away Hayward, PJ, and Oubre and a number 1 for Russell Westbrook?
No.
Show of hands, is Jay doing that? And Jay hasn't been that smart as an owner, but is he doing that?
Shout out to Adam Morrison.
Hi, Kwame Brown. Listen, here's the thing. I think if they would have traded Russ like I told them to in the off season,
it would have happened.
They probably could have got two of those 3 for Russ. And because I do know that Mike he's enamored with Russ. He really likes Russ. And so I think you could have taken advantage of him and gotten I think there's too much, as us old guys say, hair on the dog. So they're going to stay away from everyone's going to stay away from Russ with the exception of this. There's some teams that are tanking for Victor. I'm going to not say his last name. They're tanking for Victor. And they're thinking, hey, I get $44 million off my books. Maybe I do make that move. If that is my end goal, because then because we've seen you can lose with Russ. And that's huge. You can lose with Russ. Cool, let's do that. Let's lose with Russ. Because if I go into next season with $44 million lighter in my pocket and the first overall pick, and I'm a rebuilding team, I kind of like that. Because there's going to be players that want to play with this young Victor kid, want to see what he can do. I got the first pick and $44 million. I think I'm set for the next 5 to 10 years.
I don't know, X. My grandmother told me when I was a kid, I can do bad all by my damn self. I don't need you to help me suck. I don't need you to help me do that. I don't. I do not need you to help me suck. I can do bad all by my damn self. I don't need that.
Like if I'm the Jazz are too good right now. I think it's time to trade away Sexton and what's his name?
Markin.
Lauri Markkanen's a nice player. Like that's nice. That a potential championships type, deep playoff run team. They could use a guy like him. Why not?
Yeah.
They need some guys that can do the dirty work. When I was looking at the roster yesterday, I'm like, who's gonna elbow a guy when he comes to the lane? Who's the tough guy? Who's the guy that's gonna dive for loose balls? I saw the rookie from Kansas, with something Braun. I forgot his name on the Nuggets yesterday. He was there was a possession where he out rebounded like 4 Lakers and got the ball and then made an assist and got like the next possession dove on the floor. I'm like, yo, who's gonna do that stuff for the Lakers? And I don't know who that is.
And let me be clear. I do want to go back because Hailey, you brought this up and someone said it in the chat too. When we say like trade them, one, I was saying trade them in the summer. 2, I know that there's a date that they can't trade them until. So clearly after that date when they're eligible to be traded again, of course. Like
Yeah.
Like not, some of them can't be traded today, but let's be honest, they're not going to get any better.
So X, your 5 are Pac, Hove, Kanye,
Wayne.
Pac, Wayne, Hove, Kanye, Drizzy. I'm feeling that. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I don't have a problem with that list. I don't, because all of those dudes are deserving. Kanye West is super nice as a lyricist and producer. The production is I think that goes without saying. Yeah, I think the production goes without saying. So I'm feeling that list. I don't
Who's your 5?
My top 5 rappers of all time. That's simple for me. Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Rakim, Slim.
Slim is in your top 5.
Man, please.
Hailey,
We've talked about this.
Hailey,
He's in mine too.
Do you have a top 5?
Yeah. I'm named after, like, my mom literally named me Haley after.
There you go.
Your Hailey?
Daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're like the same age.
Like that whole
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I vibe with a lot of his music.
Who's your
Similar stories.
Who's your 5?
My top 5?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough. We lost him, I think.
Yeah,
But,
we'll get him back.
That's tough. I would have to probably say in order. I have Wayne at the top as well. I would probably do. It's so tough. You know who I'm loving right now? I won't get my top 5, but do you know Jordan Lucas?
What do you mean you're not going to give your top 5 right now?
I don't even know. I'm bad at organizing. I'm bad at like ranking. I don't like
Mr. 22-1 JMR is dying to hear your top 5.
My top 5?
No, Hailey.
I don't know. I'd probably go.
You want a second? You want me to give my top 5 and then you can think about it?
I just don't know. I can't rank. It's like somebody asking, what are your top 5 favorite movies of all time? I don't know. That's a really hard.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a really tough thing.
Well, I always say this because I always say because my list is like, I don't know, it's like there's, it's 800 people on the list. And so it does depend sometimes on the mood I'm in, because I'm not saying the greatest, they're like the best to me, the ones that influence my life, right? So when I think of my 5, I'm like, Rakim is 1 for me, because the first time I heard Rakim, I was just like, this is the greatest music of all ever. Like I forgot about everything else, and I was like, that's it. 2 was Pac, because Pac made a white kid in a suburb of Toronto be like, dude, there's a fucking struggle that some people that I don't relate to are fucking dying through, and I don't understand it, but like, wow, like made me feel that. Then Biggie, because damn, just listen to him, right? And then this is where my list people start to go, what? Because I have Tribe and Outkast in this forever battle of my favorite rap groups, and every day it switches, and Andre 3000 is there. Andre 3000 started a Southern rap revolution, and I just saw it actually today when he was on stage, and he was like, the South has something to say, and I was just like, yeah, like it just incredible. Yeah. And then the first rapper I ever heard, which was LL Cool J, and people do not give Cool J enough.
I think Cool J is a top 10 rapper. I think Cool J is a top 10 rapper all the time, no doubt.
He made it popular to be like flamboyant. He made it popular to like talk about not just the struggle, but to have fun, to party. And then he made it, like I said, I mentioned before, when you heard I Need Love and two different worlds, I think the first time you're like, what? And then it grew on you. And then you fast forward and everybody, like I said, has like this love song. But then there's so many like, and that's why it's so hard, because I always say honorable mention. I gotta like Queen Latifah. You gotta give like some of the women of rap love too. Scarface, E40, They're just like, my list is so incredibly long, right?
Yeah.
That it's just like I have to give respect to all these, and then the groups, right? Wu-Tang, and my thing's crazy because I got like Wu-Tang, Slum Village, Outkast, Tribe. Like I'm all over the place with it. Like I'm not. That's why I say different genres. So different their music, right? But I'm like, I take pieces from all of them. So I'm just, that's why I love having you on, because I knew we were going to talk about some of this stuff. And like,
you brought up a lot of dope groups, and Wu-Tang and Outkast. Oof.
X, the thing that we just talked about, I don't know if you heard my top 5 before you got
sorry. Yeah, somebody tried to call me.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard my top 5.
Yeah, what was your top 5? I didn't get to hear it.
Biggie, Biggie, Jigga, Nas, Rakim, Slim Shady. And I come from the era of battle rap. And when I say battle rap, I come from the era where you had to say something and it had to have some substance to it. Yeah. I care about production. I care about flow. I care about rhymes. I'm more of the guy who is the lyricist. I want to hear you say something, and then I'm talking to somebody and go, hold on for a second. Say that again, what you just said. I want to make sure that I heard that. Which is why I was digging your track deep, because I'm thinking, yo, this dude is dope, right? Because this dude has some substance to him. I care about that stuff. So when I think about rappers, I care about what you say more than it being gimmicky. So those are my top 5.
Yeah, no,
and I like that. So
top 5.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, I like, to be honest, I listen to lyrics, but I also sometimes I just want the beat, the gimmicky. I'm okay with that. I'm okay to feel good and have no substance sometimes. But there's some people brought up, like I saw Goody Mob, absolutely, Ghostface, obviously. You know Ghostface I love just for the simple fact of because Tony's his name. Defeated champion. All right. And I saw a lot of Big L. So let me just say this. Big L to me is Len Bias. Big L is Len Bias to me. It's just, he was just gone too soon, but he was going to be like ridiculous, right? So
way too soon.
Yeah.
Okay, X. What about top 10 NBA all-time NBA?
Five. Just don't make it.
We ain't gonna put X on the spot like that. We ain't gonna do it like that.
Wait, before you go though, is Steph Curry in your top 10? Yes or no?
In my top 10?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Probably 10, probably 9,
okay.
10, but he's in there. He's in there. But top 5, okay. Oh man, this is tough. Okay, I mean, we're gonna start. We're gonna start with Mr. 6 for 6, Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Number 2 would probably have to be Kareem.
Wow. Hey, it's your boy.
Number 3, I mean, this might be heart over head over heart, but I'm going with Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
I'm going with Kobe. That's number 3. Oh man. Oh, this is tough. Number 4, I would say. I wish there was more longevity. I've never seen a force as dominant as Shaq. So I'm gonna put him. Can I put him 5 and then put LeBron 4?
Yes, absolutely. You can do that.
You can do whatever you want.
James 4, Shaq 5. I can get with that.
That's crazy.
I want to put Shaq 5 and LeBron 4.
I can get with that.
I'm gonna rock like that. That's tough.
So you got Jordan, Kareem, Kobe, LeBron,
Shaq.
Yeah, that's his top 5, no doubt.
Man,
no
I
disrespect
was
Magic or anybody
Lakers.
else like that. You know what I'm saying? Just, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody has time, if you have a time machine, I would love to find a way to go back in time and bring MJ to play for the Lakers. That'd be heaven. That'd be a heaven. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead, Zay.
No, you're good. I was gonna say I left Hakeem Olajuwon off that list as a Nigerian. He's not the best center of all time, but if I had to pick a center to start a team that could play in any era then and now, I think that his game would translate a little better than Shaq's. Because I don't know, like you couldn't guard Draymond Green with Shaq in this day and age, but back then when he schooled Hakeem in that Magic series, like when Hakeem schooled Shaq in that Magic series, I thought there was no better center in basketball.
Two things, X, and Tone will tell you this. Number 1, I took one of those 23andMe tests, and turns out 82% of my lineage is Nigerian. So I just want to put that
I
out.
did not know that.
Welcome to the game.
Wait, I did not.
I just want to put that. I just want to put that out. 82% of my lineage is Nigerian.
My
and
Nigerian brother.
The other 17% is English and Irish, which means somebody was sneaking in the slave quarters, as you know. So we already know how that goes. And the other half of that, and I told this to Tone, I said, if Hakeem Olajuwon is on the board when you draft and you don't pick him, you're fired on the spot. I'm not saying that you might be fired over the course of years. If Hakeem Olajuwon is on the board and you pass on him, you are fired.
Yeah, it's so funny because I have this conversation often where I tell people, like, they try to say, well, Jordan wasn't the first overall pick. I'm like, you can't pick him first. You can't, especially in that day and age, you can't pick a guard over that.
In 1984, if you take Michael Jordan over Hakeem Olajuwon, you are fired as a GM. You are fired. You're fired that day.
Yes, so, I got it. Only because I saw this, the Boogie Down Productions. Yes, KRS-One. Sorry, I'm just looking through all the rappers here. So
absolutely.
Can I hear your guys' top fives? I just want to see if Kobe makes any of everybody else's list, because everybody always tells me that Kobe's not top five.
I think he's in 2 of our lists.
He's in 2
of ours, but missing not 1. But I'll go mine. I got Bron number 1. I always say, just because like I grew up watching Bron, I didn't get to see MJ like that. So so I got Bron, MJ, I got Kareem, I've got Magic, and then I have Kobe at 5.
Yes, I like that.
Yes. And that's probably biased as well. Like, you can make so many arguments, but for me, it's got to be Kobe.
Yeah,
and I've got Jordan, Bron, Kareem, Magic, Kobe.
I like that.
You're not gonna like this one.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it. I'd love to hear it.
James, Jordan, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell.
Oh,
Russell is so,
you can't go wrong with that.
Russell's so overrated.
Now,
that's because you're a Laker fan.
that's number 1. H Boogie. That's the stop the conversation with that right there. What you
someone asked me today on TikTok. They're like, who's a superstar that's been like protected the most? I think it's Russell.
How Tone? How is that possible?
I feel like because of the 13 years, 12 finals, 11 championships, and what he did off the court, people just kind of, they put him in this like bubble and they protect him a little bit because he's such a nice dude. He's such a nice man. He did so much for civil rights. Like they're confusing the off the court stuff with the on the court stuff.
Don't leave out the 5 league MVPs. We're gonna leave that part out too.
Yep.
That's very important to mention. Don't leave out the part that he averaged 20 and 20 twice in the playoffs. You know how many guys averaged 20 and 20 twice in the playoffs? Chamberlain. That's it. Nobody else did that, Tone. That includes the Diesel. That includes Olajuwon. That includes all those other guys. He did it twice.
Wonderful.
He did it twice. He didn't do it once. He did it twice. Add that to the fact that he coached a team to 2 NBA championships while he was on the crew playing.
How easy was that he got to coach and play at the same time?
While he was on the crew, and he was averaging a double-double while coaching. He's responsible for the rotation, and I'm also responsible for dealing with Chamberlain at the same time.
Yeah, I think he was an excellent leader, an excellent team player. I wouldn't start my franchise with him. I think there's 10 guys ahead of him that I would start my franchise with.
But I have to clear it because
I'm not saying he's trash. I'm not putting him like 25th. I have him at like 11 or 12. It's not like crazy.
Right outside.
You have Kobe at 11. Me having Russell at 11 or 12, I think is very fair.
Oh, I catch a lot of heat for that, X. Yes, I do.
The chat is going crazy because because of your list in general, some people like it. But basically, they're saying, and I'm going to let you clarify because I know you don't believe in this as well, but that rings don't really weigh on your list.
Here's the thing, X. The thing that makes the list for me, number 1, is your game timeless? So you as a rapper, are we going to be talking about you in 20 years? Mm-hmm. That's what I care about.
Yeah.
Is your music timeless? That goes into the GOAT debate. Is this dude going to be somebody that, am I going to still be listening to his music in 20 years? That's part of it. Number 2, did you dominate? Well, when I think about Karl Malone went 28 and 11 for over a decade. How are we talking about a guy running around in the NBA today that went almost 30 and 10 for a decade? How are we talking about that dude? Mm-hmm. He's something completely different, right? Number 3, well, you can't just be kicking ass and you ain't winning. You know, I care about you winning. You have to win, right? So with you winning, there's a lot that goes into winning. So me and Tone had this conversation. So the fact that Derrick Rose got hurt, right? The fact that Paul George got hurt, that enhanced LeBron winning because now I don't got to deal with these dudes. As opposed to if Derrick Rose still was able to play at that level, if Paul George never broke his leg, he would have to deal with those dudes. And we might be talking about a different LeBron James. So that stuff matters. Add that in with how impactful were you? Well, when I think about Jordan, I think about his game. I think about his gear. I think about how people looked at him. How impactful was this dude? That makes him that on the court. That matters. And the last thing that was the most important to me was socially. How active were you? Like, how did people look at you? What type of dude were you? So when I think about stuff like that, those are the guys that I think about in my top 5.
See, I take the off the court stuff. Oh, I find a way to eliminate it because I don't think it. I get what you're saying, but I try to keep it out. All right, so let's sit first. Thank you.
X looks like he was about to respond to that.
Oh, sorry, yo, my bad.
I actually had one thing to say. So when we look up the all-time NBA defensive teams for a guard, you guys know who the number 1 player is, who has the most all-time defensive teams as a guard, right?
It would be Jay. That would be Jay.
It's Kobe. For first time for all defensive team, NBA all defensive team. He has the most appearances on the number 1 all defensive team for a guard. So I think that sometimes people forget that basketball is a two-way sport. And so and I don't want to throw shade or anything, but the reason why I put Kobe over LeBron is because I don't know if LeBron's even ever made the all defensive team.
6 times.
Oh yeah, 6 times.
Oh, he has. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. But I know it's not the amount of times that Kobe's made it, and he doesn't always go grab that guy. I don't know if you guys remember this in the finals when they were going against the Warriors. He kept going behind screens, and KD was hitting these shots. He would leave Rodney.
Burned me. It burned me. I ain't gonna lie to you, X. It burned me because I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking about the best play. Like I want that assignment. If we're gonna lose, right? If we're gonna lose, you're gonna have to kick my ass.
Yeah.
I'm not switching. No, we're not switching.
Hood,
you are the guy.
Smoke.
And I can't leave Rodney Hood on there. No, I can't do that.
So that's why when I put Kobe up there in the top 3-5, I always just think because my man played both ways.
Yeah.
And then he played with Andrew Bynum and Pau Gasol. When I look at who LeBron's played with in his career and I look at who Kobe's played with in his career outside of Shaq, Derek Fisher was the best point guard he played with. Gary Payton was at the end of his career, you know what I'm saying, when he showed up there. So I just think that he did a lot with not the most. You know what I'm saying? Like Mike had Pippen, and that was it. Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman. But Kobe had Bynum, who was out of the league right after he won the finals. You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron's played with this superstar, this Hall of Famer, this guy. So it just gets, it gets a little tricky for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'm with it. So I wanted to get everybody to where they can find you, so we can let you get out of here. We're gonna play your track Deep as when we fade out, but I know on Spotify it's like Xavier Top Floor. Social, is it the same?
Yeah, same all across the board. My website is XavierTopFloor.com. We're dropping new hoodies tomorrow. I'm dropping the Deep video tomorrow. You can check it out next week on Revo. It's gonna be on TV. And
am I gonna be in the next video?
Man, I need to get up to Canada and come see you. We need to chop it up in real life.
All right, we in, man. I tell you ask Jay when I do live get-togethers, we do a big. When me and Jay got together in Tampa, we got a yacht.
We got a yacht.
Yeah, we do shit.
I saw that, and I want to thank you guys so much for having me on your platform, man.
Love this dude, yo. He's dope.
Absolutely,
dude is dope. I'm loving this dude. He's dope.
Like mid-season check-in with the Lakers. We'll talk about
no
that.
doubt.
No, we'll talk about the Pelicans when they're first.
The Pels will be.
Definitely want to have this. Definitely want to have this dude back sometime, man. I love this dude. He's dope. No doubt.
Xavier Top Floor, man. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you guys, man.
All right, thank you.
Peace.
Digging him. He's dope, Tom. I dig him.
He's awesome.
No doubt. Definitely feeling him.
He reached out a while back and said, "Yo, I love your show. This was when me and Jay were just doing it. You and I.
Mhm.
I love your show. If there's any music in my catalog that you guys want to use on your show,
Word.
and just let me know. And I mean, same day that I sent you a couple and we kind of decided on the flip.
Yep.
I didn't even know it was on the NBA 2K, to be honest with you, back then.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, he goes, what do you need? I go, ideally, because of copyright and stuff, I need like the censored version.
Yeah.
And instrumental. I've got the regular one, and he's like,
Yeah.
cool. And I mean, same day, boom, had his people send me the instrumental, the censored version.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
yeah, he's been amazing for that stuff. And then when I saw that he was playing in Viper Room, I had a couple of my friends who still live, like from my time when I lived in LA. I said, go check him out. And they're like, dude, his concert was fire. It was packed. Like it was a fun show. And I'm like, all right, this I like hearing that stuff. I like it.
He's dope. No doubt he's dope.
Ooh. Do we
Yeah,
have? I don't even know do we have anything left?
Well, I just wanted to talk to you guys about. I mean, because I missed last week. But I kind of wanted to get your perspectives. Just on the league that we've seen. I mean, obviously we talked about the Lakers. The Nets don't even deserve a discussion. But when we talk about these kind of, I guess, smaller market teams, when we talk about the Cavs, when we talk about the Pels, when we talk about the Jazz, when we talk about Orlando, like some of these, even the rookies, like how we're feeling about, Ivy, Monchero, like Jay, are any of these teams standing out to you? And do you think any of them can make a deep playoff run? Obviously the Cavs are probably top to that list. But yeah, how are you feeling about all those teams?
Tony and I had this conversation last week. I like Cleveland. I think the fact that they now have that perimeter scorer that they didn't have last year. I think that I've already had them solidified as a top 5 seed in the East. And I think that with Donovan Mitchell, I think they're a second round exit, but I think that they're going to be a very difficult second round exit because he gives them that element that they didn't have on the wing in terms of a scorer. I mean, they have Darius Garland who can score the basketball. They got Evan Mobley on the box who can also score the basketball. Okoro is good. LeVert is good. But that guy that we can consistently go to for buckets, they now have that guy. And I think that they're going to be very dangerous. I still think that they're a little bit away because they're young, but the fact that they now have that guy, they're going to be really competitive, and they're going to be a team that's going to be. You're going to have to deal with Cleveland for a long time, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I told Tone this also about Banchero, he's digging Banchero. He reminds me of Antoine Walker. That's who he reminds me of, like a more athletic version of Antoine Walker. And I think that the Orlando Magic, they may have their franchise player. They may very well have their franchise player, and if that's the case, now we can build around this guy, right? We can definitely build around him. New Orleans is a lot better than what I thought they were going to be. I'd like to have a conversation. They're a lot better than what I thought they were going to be. I'd like to have this conversation about them again in another month or two.
Yeah.
I want to see what they're looking like. You guys already know I got a man crush on Herb Jones. I really dig him. You already know how I feel about him. But when I think about teams making a deep run in the playoffs, I mean, the Eastern Conference is a nightmare. Right. And the Eastern Conference is a nightmare. So when I think about teams like Cleveland, when I think about teams like Charlotte or the Knicks, I mean, the Knicks may very well be a playoff team, but I don't know how far they're going to go in the playoffs. I'm not sure. But the usual suspects, like I watched Milwaukee last night. Once they get Middleton back, I'm really trying to see a team in the Western Conference that's going to beat them 4 times in a week. I don't see it. I don't.
Nobody.
I don't.
They made the Nets just look sad.
I just don't, Age. I don't. I'm looking at them, and when Middleton gets back and he gets healthy and he gets back in the mix, I'm having a very difficult time seeing a team beat them 4 times in a week. I can't see it.
Yeah. How about Portland? How are you feeling about? Have you seen? Obviously, we saw Dame kind of struggle with some injury, but last night. But man, they start off crazy.
Well, if he can stay healthy, I know he's out for another week or 2 because he's got that strained calf. But I think Dame plays himself back into the top 10 this year, and I do think that Portland is a playoff team. I think that they're right on the edge of the play-in tournament. I think they're an 8-9 seed, but Dame looks so sharp. Dame just looks like he looks sharp, and these guys that he's running with. So Grant looks like a number 3 on a playoff team. That's what he looks like to me, right? He looks like a number 3. And I think that, Tone, you mentioned this to me in the past too, Tone, about executives and how important it is. I think that we don't give the executives in Portland enough credit because how they developed Anthony Simons, Simons. Like they basically,
I was waiting for you. I really like Simons.
How they basically drafted him in the late first round and just tucked him away, and nobody really talked about him. And look what he's turning into. He looks like he's turning into. He's crazy. He may be one of the elite. He may be at some point one of the elite 2 guards in the game. Maybe a more athletic version of CJ.
The smaller. When I say smaller markets, I don't mean media markets, because I mean like the smaller, like the less desirable, I guess, like Portland, the New Orleans, the OKCs, the heck, even the Torontos of the world,
right?
Third biggest market, but when it comes to where destinations,
right,
those teams have to do stuff like this. And if you look at OKC, New Orleans, what did they do? Right, they developed the young players, they made smart trades, they picked up a lot of draft picks. Portland had a superstar. They tried to run it with him and McCollum and they're like, didn't work. Okay, let's start gathering those assets, right? Look at Toronto. Half of that roster, Siakam, Fred VanVleet. These are all guys that were brought in and developed through their G League team, and that's how these have to do it. So with Portland, I was big on, listen, it's not gonna work. Just let Dame, free Dame, hashtag free Dame. Let him go somewhere. Let him get his deep playoff run. Let him get to the finals. You know what? Maybe this will work. Maybe the fact that he wants to stay and they said, hey, it's not going to work. Let's try this, and he was patient. Maybe this ends up working. They're a piece away from being a team that
is going to make some noise in the West.
Make some noise in the West.
Yeah, I can get.
Yeah, they're gonna kind of sneak up on people, but what you said, Jay, like it literally all hinges on Dame's health, and he's a small guard that does get injured quite frequently. I mean, he's strong, he's tough, but like, man, that's a scary predicament if he suffers any injury. You saw what happened. The team kind of implodes, and it is good for like Simons, and I think they can hold up, especially as they build that rapport moving into the season. But early on, I think that's gonna.
Well, you got to remember too, H, that we're talking about a Damian Lillard who is going into year 11, and he's getting some miles on him. So, I mean, I still think he's got some good years left. He's only 32, so I still think he's got some really good years left. But him throwing teams on his back, and I mean that's going to be tough for him. I mean, I don't think he's James good. Now, I don't think he's that good, but I still think he's good enough to get you to the playoffs. But if you could get him another guy in there.
Yeah, he needs something else.
If you could get him another guy in there that he can go to, because Nurkic isn't it. I don't think so. I don't think Nurkic is
He's playing better than I've seen him play in a minute, but like that's gonna fade. He always starts the season strong, and then he gets hurt or just gives up. And
yes. And let me just shout out Mitch real quick. Mitch, yes, I would love to see Dame in a Laker uniform. I've always wanted Dame in a Laker uniform. Yes.
He'd come to the Warriors before he'd ever go to LA.
A million
percent. Back to Oakland.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, break.
Yeah.
Russ for Dame, straight up. Let's do it.
What?
If you cut Tony, if you the general manager of the Portland Trailblazers, and Rob Pelinka called you up and said Russ for Westbrook, not only would you hang the phone up, change my phone number. If he ever calls me, do not call me. Even though I know that this might sound ridiculous, but I wouldn't be surprised if Russ went somewhere else and started balling. That would not surprise me at all. It wouldn't. It's just a bad.
If they put Russ on a team that had no aspirations of like championships, et cetera, and just said, "Here's Russ." I can't think of a team right now, but just we have a team.
Oklahoma City. How about Oklahoma City?
OKC, Charlotte.
Do they have shooters?
Yeah, Giddey can shoot the basketball. Yeah, Giddey can shoot the basketball.
OKC. Okay, fine.
No,
a team that has no aspirations. A team that is just like, hey, we want the first overall pick. I think he could go. You could see that 25, 10, and 7 guy again. They're going to lose every game. But man, he's fun to watch that way. He's fun to watch. So if you don't care about winning, why not? Let him play. Free Russ. Lakers. Hashtag free Russ.
Well, Tom, what's the problem? I'm pretty sure that we had this conversation over the summer. Why wasn't he traded? It wasn't like that there weren't offers.
Was there offers?
I'm sure there was, Tom.
But for the full contract, I think that wasn't that where it kind of got messy.
Well, but here's the thing, though. It's only Russ is on the last year of his deal, which is very attractive to teams. Like Russ doesn't have 2 or 3 more years on his deal. He's got an expiring contract this season. After this year, he comes off the books. So he's much easier to move now than he would have been 3 years ago when he had 3 more years at 44, 46, and $47 million on his track. So with that being said, what is the holdup?
So would you take Russ? Would you take Russ and that $44 million expiring contract and just tell him go home?
That's what I think. That's a.
So I got the cap space and I got probably the first overall pick. Let's be honest. Just let him go. Like, or you feel you're going to get demoted to the G League.
I don't think Jeannie's going to just throw that away. I think
No,
no.
I'm saying she trades him. I'm saying if you're a team that wants Hank, would you trade for Russ and just send him and just say, don't even bother coming, go home. Here's your.
Well, I don't think that if you're trading for Russ, you're not tanking, because Russ is not going to come in and do that. I don't think he's going to play in Indiana. I don't think he's going to play in.
That's what I'm saying. Be a free agent.
No, Tone. I don't mean he's not going to play at all. I don't mean he's not going to play in these cities like he's playing with the Lakers. I think he's going to play differently. I think he's going to play harder. I think he's going to be happier. I think he's going to be more vibrant, and I think you're going to get a different.
I feel when I see Russ, he's unhappy. I don't think he likes playing anymore.
He doesn't like playing in Los Angeles, Tone.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not that he doesn't, because he was having a really good time when he was in Washington, when they were at the bottom of the league, and he gets on that crew with Bradley Beal, and they're in the playoffs that same season. He wasn't having a problem like that. He looked happier.
You think it's more LA that's making?
I think that the LA thing it's definitely worn on him more than he would like to admit. No doubt about that. And add that to the fact, Tone, that whatever unit he gets on, number one, he's going to be box office. People are going to come see. Even if it's bad, we got Russell Westbrook. They want to, even if it's carnage, they want to see it. But I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be a lot better. I think he needs to be out of there simply just for his basketball career.
Yeah. I agree. I think he'll continue to play. I don't think he's just going to give up basketball. I don't know if he could do that.
I don't think he's over. I don't
think so either. And I don't think
he went 19, 8, and 7 last year.
Yeah, he's not.
Now, I keep hearing a lot of nonsense about, well, you're just looking at stats. I am looking at stats because stats talk about what you produced. Now, the Lakers weren't very good defensively, but offensively, I mean, Russ led them in assists. He led them in rebounding. He led them in steals.
He led them in turnovers.
He did lead them in turnovers. Yes, he did lead them in turnovers. And it didn't. And a lot of it didn't lead to anything with Russ. But remember, Tone, I mean, the Lakers did miss the playoffs by 1 game. It wasn't like they missed the playoffs by 8 or 9 games. They missed the playoffs by 1 game. One.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know, like moving on, like I honestly get tired of talking about Russ because at this point we know that he is a problem. He is part of the problem, but he's not the complete problem. So I think the Lakers just need to rewire themselves quickly.
I think last night was evidence of that.
Yeah, I think I hear an echo.
Yeah. Hello. There's an echo, but that's okay. Do we want to do of course, keep them super chats rolling in if you got them. We appreciate y'all for sending those in. Do we want to do what do we want to do? We want to do some more basketball, some more football, or we want to go watch the end of this horrible Ravens-Bucks game?
I'm actually watching.
What are you watching? Yeah, I guess. What are you watching?
I'm watching the Heat Golden State on NBA TV right now.
Yeah, I know. I want to.
I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna go check that out. Oh, we got a ball game at the end of the first. The Warriors up 2. We got a ball game.
I need this one. You don't know, man. Oh, you don't know how I felt. You know how I feel about the Suns and Chris Paul, like that whole.
H, why you hate them so much? I'm glad I got you on line 1. What's going on, H? Why you hate them so much? What's the problem?
Oh, you didn't know. You didn't know. I'm from Arizona, so I'm allowed to feel this way. I think, but
they did smoke your boys. They did smoke your boys the other night.
It's not that. Like we lost. We got smoked by the Nuggets. I mean, not smoked, but we lost to them. But there's just something about the Suns. Chris Paul is one of my least favorite players of all time. I'm just gonna put it out there. Devin Booker, I just don't like. Devin Booker is extremely talented, but I'd love to see him play somewhere else where he could thrive. I don't think he's ever going to go anywhere in Phoenix. It's just not going to happen. Not with the way that their franchise runs the organization. Obviously, we've seen that trickle down this offseason. I think we've seen it for years prior. I remember watching when like Oubre was there and that era. It was just bad basketball, bad organization. And then we see Chris Paul getting old. We see they got rid of Crowder, their dirty work guy. Like I'm surprised like they're still up and running, but just the way, like, I know there's a whole mental game, and Devin Booker played it and he played it well and he won and he used it to his advantage. But they talk so much shit for a team that can't win a ring. That's my problem. Like, I feel like you have to be able to back it up before you talk like that, but they can't. So that's my rant. I don't think the Suns are going to win anything this season. I think they'll make the playoffs, but yeah. But as far as the Dubs go, we got some work to do. I don't know. They're kind of freaking me out right now, but we'll figure it out.
The road to the NBA championship in the Western Conference goes through Golden State. It does. Yeah. I just don't like this matchup with Phoenix for you guys. And I felt like that
last season even.
I felt like that last season. I think I said that to you. I don't like this matchup between Golden State and Phoenix. I don't like the matchups in terms of Devin Booker and Klay Thompson. I don't like the fact Tone doesn't like Ayton, but I like Ayton, his ability to rim run, his ability to rebound. Yeah. And I think that Wiseman isn't used as much as they could use him. I think that Steve Kerr is easing him back into the lineup. Yeah. But when you go up against Phoenix, I think it's a little trickier. I just don't like this matchup. I don't. With Phoenix and Golden State, anybody else in the Western Conference, I'm good. But with Phoenix and Golden State, I don't like that matchup. I don't.
Yeah, it's a rough rivalry for us to get through.
So I just want to. I know this is the last segment, but there's been comments about asking about the Raptors. So I do want to bring up the Raptors. And this is what I got to say about the Raptors. And I said this on Fired Up. So this isn't, maybe it's a hot take. I don't know. If I'm a superstar on a bad team, I'm figuring out a way to force my way to Toronto. Because the Raptors are one superstar. Now, keep in mind, you have to really be someone who has leverage to say, I'm going there, but you're not getting these guys back, right? You're not getting you're not getting Siakam and Barnes, right? And I know people are like, that's crazy. It's not crazy. Look at what's happened in the past. Superstars have done this. Superstars have gotten traded for a bag of donuts because they want it out. So it's not crazy what I'm about to say, because if you think about it, the Raptors are a team built around team defense, like incredible team defense with the most defensive sets you've ever seen. They've got good scorers, good defenders, a good system, a good GM, a really, really good, a great GM, a really good coach, an incredible fan base. Like what we saw it with Kawhi. You put Kawhi in there, you got rid of their one superstar, replace him with Kawhi, boom, title. I get it. There's some other injuries to Golden State, blah, blah. Yeah.
That was the big piece, though. That was a big deal.
The fact is, what got them to the final, right? There was no excuses getting them to the final. Maybe winning the final, sure, you have excuses. But everybody was healthy in Philadelphia and Milwaukee to get them to the final. So they're that one kind of superstar way. So now I'm not suggesting these guys will do this, but if you just imagine and you convince me of this. If you get Fred, VanVleet, and OG and one of their young guys for, like, if they were to make that trade to anybody, I mean, pick a superstar, Dame, Luka, just any Jokic. I get it. Listen, I know what I'm saying is crazy. None of those guys are getting traded for that. But if one of those guys said, I want to go there, they're an instant title contender.
Oh, and I love Damian Lillard in Toronto. I don't like him in Toronto. I love Damian Lillard in Toronto.
Could you imagine him running the point for Siakam and Barnes?
I love him in Toronto. Oh my goodness.
Beautiful. And that's what I'm saying. And so when you ask me how good are they, they're good enough that if everything goes right, they could be in the Eastern Conference Finals. The problem is they're young enough that they could be a 9 or 10 seed too. Yeah. Right? That's their problem.
They're lacking that one piece.
There's so much. If they had that one piece, because listen, I love Siakam. I really do. Right? He was all NBA last year, third team. However, can he be that guy who, and this was the difference with Kawhi, what got them to the final. Can he be that guy in the last minute, 2 minutes that you just go to exclusively?
We already proved who he is, Tony. He's the third guy on a championship team. That's who Siakam is. I think we've already established that Siakam is the number 3 on a championship team. And that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I want to see Dame I like what Dame is doing in Portland. But if you're asking me to dream and you're asking me to come on a dream with you,
yeah,
I love Dame in Toronto. I do.
that could be. Yeah, now you got me thinking. Call him up. Call up the GM.
You know what I call? I don't know if I don't need to call up. I need to call up Dame. That's the problem. It's Dame who's gonna have to say, "Let's do it." Because I you know what? Here's the funny thing. If a guy like Dame, who's really well respected, said, "Hey, you know what? We gave it a shot. It's time." I think the organization wouldn't be like, "All right, where do you want to go? How can we make it work for you?"
Just so you know,
he's not like a jerk that they're trying to screw over. Like I really think that they'd be like,
Drex got traded in year 12, so it ain't like Drex. I'm sorry, year 12, Drex got traded, so it ain't like
people always say I'm
out
crazy.
of his contract.
Yeah.
People always whether it's LeBron James, Damian Lillard, whatever. People always say, "Oh, you're crazy." Those guys, no, superstars get traded, man. Star players get traded. It happens, especially if they ask for it in the right way.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the wrong way, they can make it happen. So
just so you know, Shaq got traded for Lamar Odom, Ron Butler, and Brian Grant.
Yeah,
but to Orlando, you mean?
No, when he got traded to Miami from Los Angeles.
Oh, to Miami.
He got traded for Lamar Odom.
At the time, Vince Carter was at his peak. He got traded for Eric Williams, a basketball, and Alonzo Mourning, who said, "I'm not playing there," and they had to. I think they ended up trading him to Miami because he refused to play there.
Yeah, he wasn't coming to Toronto. He said that.
FYI, just again, crazy thing. The Raptors turned down Dirk and Nash for Vince Carter. They turned down that deal.
They said no.
They took that deal from Jersey for the Aaron and Eric Williams and
that
a
duo.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Mitch did mention Keegan Murray looking solid. Shout out to Keegan Murray. I think he's nice for sure for the Kings. I've loved watching him. The game we played against him, he did some damage. So yeah, these young rooks look good this season. And then when Wembanyama, Victor, whatever.
Wembanyama.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to keep our lookout. But next week, next Thursday, I think we should do, just for fun, we should do our oh man, now I can't even think. What do you call it when you make our NBA playoff brackets, but early in the season? And then we'll do one mid-season. Yes, and then we'll do it mid-season, and then we'll do it like right before playoffs when you're supposed to do it. And then I'm gonna keep them, and we'll keep track of them.
All right, I'm good with that.
All
right, you guys. We got all the super chats.
Yeah, we got all the super chats.
Yes, we did.
Alrighty. And you guys make sure to go check out Xavier Top Floor. He was awesome. We'll probably have him on again as soon as possible. Insane basketball knowledge, but awesome music as well. So go check out his Instagram and all his socials as well. Appreciate all of you. As always, we will be back next Thursday with another episode of Fluent and Chill. If you have any questions or ideas for us to touch on, make sure to comment under the video and make sure to like it up. That always helps us as well. But yeah, for now, Jay.
Take it light, but take it.
And I got it, and it's under my veins. Fall through the winter, it's summer, it's tame. Cologne doesn't cover the strain. That's just a pack. I keep integrity, morals intact. Last year I went to New York, then Atlanta, to LA, to Florida, blow out a bag. They wanna know